All right, so I'm gonna share my screen so that you guys can see my card sort, I hope. Okay, so you guys can see my screen that has everybody's names that's doing it. And let me go like this. Actually, I'm gonna click on mine, which is a blank one here, and then I can access you guys also. So if you haven't seen the video on the slope fields yet, it definitely helps to see that first. So if you haven't seen that video yet, you might just kind of log out for now and watch that video, and then I am recording this so you could log back in later to see it, or you're welcome to watch now, but I don't think it's going to make a lot of sense to you without having that as a reference point. So anyway, okay. So gosh, I have stuff all over my screen right now because I can see people in the class. Get rid of that. Okay. So right now I can't even see all of the different cards, and you guys probably found that too. So you guys can see what I'm doing, moving the cards around, right? You guys able to see what I'm doing, moving the cards around? Okay. So there are some cards that have like X and Y in them. These over here all have X and Y in them. And then some cards that just have X's in them, like this one here that I'm holding, that one just has X's in it. So I'm gonna start by sorting them so that I have all the ones that have just X's in them, like these two over here both have just X's in them, right? The X squared minus 16 and the X squared minus 4X, they don't have any Y's in them. So I'm gonna start by sorting like that. This one up here has just the Y squared minus 16. And I think that's the only one that has Y but no X in it. So I'm gonna start by doing that. I also, oops, I got some more people waiting to jump in. Okay. I also am noticing that there's a few of them that have the X and the Y in a fraction like that. So those kind of look similar too. So I'm gonna put them together also. Okay, so I'm just gonna take a minute to kind of sort through those. And if you haven't done that yet, I think that's a good idea. It also kind of makes it so that you can see everything too if you do a little bit of sorting there. Okay, so again, Mael and Josh, I know you guys just jumped in. I'm starting by kind of trying to sort the cards with the derivatives on them. So I'm going to move all of the actual slope field ones down here to the bottom just to kind of get them out of the way. Of course, they're going to group up when I do that, but that's okay. I can ungroup them later. Let's see, this X minus Y, I'm going to put over here with the ones that have X's and Y in them. Take that off of there. So let's see, I think there's something hiding back there. And you guys can sort them however you like, but that's something that that I have found is helpful. Let's see, what else do I have hiding back there? Okay, so those are all just slope fields grouped together. And then what do I have over here? Okay, so that one's got just X's in it. So I'm going to group that one here with the ones with just X's. And then this one has X's and Y's like these guys over here. Maybe I'll move these slope fields over here where I have a little more room. Okay. So I think I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. Oh, I think there's another derivative card hiding in there. There's 14 of each types of cards. So that's what I was counting there just then. Okay. Okay, so now that I have them sorted with the X and the Y's and fractions, here's the one that just has the y in it. These guys all just have x's in it. Now I'm gonna start looking at the slope field cards and see what kind of patterns I notice there. So let's see. So one thing I'd like you guys to notice about a card like this one here is, do you see how the slopes are all the same vertically? And like right here, those are all 0 slopes. And it looks like that's at x equals -4. And then there's also 0 slopes here at x equals -4. So I am gonna look to see, now because those are all the same vertically, that tells me it's either gonna be one of these guys here or this one here, because there's not x's and y's that are changing the slopes. So like I was talking about, this one has 0 slopes where x is -4 and where x is +4. And like here, that's y is 4 and -4, right? Would make the derivative 0 there. So I don't think it's going to be that, but it might be that. So I'm going to keep that in mind. I think that this one here is likely to have slopes of 0 at 4 and -4. Does that make sense? Is there another one that could have slopes at 4 and -4? Come on, why aren't you grabbing? There we go. What do you guys think? Is there another one that could have slopes at 4 and -4? Okay, so dy dx is the slope, right? So 4 and -4 would be 0 here, because 4 squared minus 16 would be 0, and -4 squared minus 16 would be 0. But that happens here also, right? So that could also be, come on. That could also be this one. So I'm going to do that for now too, and just kind of see if I can find that on another card. Okay, so like I said, when I grabbed this card here originally, it has all the slopes that are the same vertically. And like I talked about, the slopes are all 0 when x is 4 and when x is -4. I'm going to see if I can find another one that has slopes of 0 at x equals 4 and x equals -4. So I'm going to just kind of move things around and see if I can find those. Let me show you guys this one here real quick, just because I can see it. So this one here, do you see how those slopes are all the same horizontally? Like that. So these slopes are all 0 when the y value is 4 and when the y value is -4. So because of that, I'm thinking that's probably going to work with this one. So I'm going to try grouping those together. And now I'm going to go back to looking for other cards. Ooh, I think I may have found it, that have 0 slopes at 4 and at -4. Okay, so this is looking kind of like that. Where'd it go? Kind of looking like this group here, right? Slopes of 0 at 4 and slopes of 0 at -4. So now I'm going to talk about how I can tell which one is which. So let me stop for just a second and see, does anybody have any questions right now on what I have talked about so far, what I've said about why I grouped these 4 cards here together? Anybody have questions about that? Okay. So when I look at this, I can also see 0 slopes here on the y-axis, which is when x is 0. So because of that, is it more likely to be this one or this one? What do you guys think? See how this also has the factor 0.5?
The bottom one.
The bottom one, right? Because of the 0.5 times x. And so x will also be 0. The derivative will also be 0 when x is 0. So the derivative will be 0 when x is 4 and -4 from this factor here, and then also 0 for this factor here. Okay, so I'm gonna ungroup that from the rest. Maybe I'm gonna try. Okay. And I'm just gonna
You can make it smaller by pressing the arrow.
Thanks. Okay, so now those are out of the way, so I don't have to look at them anymore. Okay, so now I still have this one here that has just X's in it. So now I'm gonna search around and see if I can find any others. So I think I'm gonna let you guys just kind of play for a little while now, and I'm gonna stop sharing that screen and let you guys just kind of try and play with it a little bit, and then I'll just kind of stay here and answer questions as they come up. And I'm gonna watch you guys, but I'm not gonna let you guys see me watching you guys. So please turn your mic off and jump in and ask me a question if you have something comes up. Otherwise, I'm gonna be watching you guys, and I'm not gonna be able to see you guys because I'm watching your cards move. So.
Can you tell us how many we have wrong?
Yes. Christine,
Oh,
it looks like you have all correct except 3.
what? Oh, yay.
Christine, I'm on your screen right now, and I hope I don't mess it up for you, but I'm moving things around so I can see what you're looking at.
Moving thing?
Yeah, I hope I don't move anything around, but I am in your
Oh.
screen right now so that I can see what you're doing. Okay, so
Okay.
Christine, the only ones you have wrong are the ones that have the X and the Y in the fraction.
Those 4?
Well, there's only 3 of them that are wrong.
Out of the 4. Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Zach, it looks like you're getting close. So Grace, if you go back into yours, that you have 2 cards that are closed, it looks like. And those are some of the ones that I talked about. I'm gonna go back into mine and I'm gonna share with you so you can see what I'm talking about. Ah, mine are all jumbled up again. Awesome. Okay, so I'm gonna go out of mine then and see if I can show you. Can you guys see the screen that shows the answers? Okay, so Grace, these 2 here are 2 that I talked about. If you want to look real quick. Here, you've got the 0 slopes at 4 and -4, but then you'll also have 0 slopes at 0 because of this one. So I think you need to flip-flop these 2 cards here.
Okay.
Okay.
If we got them all right, do we leave?
You sure can. I mean, unless you have
Okay.
questions on something else. I think I'm gonna keep the questions just to this Desmos activity for now, but if we finish, I can take other questions afterwards. So if you want to check back in later, if you have other questions, you're welcome to.
Okay, cool. Well, thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Bye.
Bye. Is it helpful for you guys to get to see this screen here that shows you, can you guys see the screen that shows how many you have right?
Yeah.
Okay. Is that helpful if I leave that there? It doesn't tell you what's right, but it gives you an idea that you have some things right.
Yes.
Okay, I'll leave that there then. And I'll just wait to see if people have questions. Hi, Carrie Ann.
Hi.
So I kind of talked through the beginning a little bit, and I think you can see the screen that I'm sharing, right?
Yes.
And so you can see you have all but 2 of them, right? And if I open it, you'll be able to see which 2 you have right. But
Wait,
maybe
I only have 2 right?
no, you have all but 2 right. So I think I said that wrong.
Okay.
If I open it, you'll be able to see which 2 are wrong.
Okay.
But I'm gonna stop sharing for a second so that I can look at Carrie Ann secretly and see if I can give her a hint since she just jumped in. Okay. It's the exact same ones that I just told Grace about, but I know you just jumped on, so you didn't get to hear it. But there are 2 cards that just have X's in them that are real similar. And it's cards that just have X's in them that are real similar that you have mixed up. There's only 4 of them, I think, that have just X's in them. So once you find those, hopefully that helps. And then I'll give you a hint too, Carrie Ann, that of those 4 that just have X's, you can see where the derivative is 0 by thinking like if you've got the x squared minus 16, the derivative is going to be 0 at 4 and -4. But then one of the cards also has like a 0.5x times x squared minus 16. And so because of that 0.5x, there's also going to be a 0 derivative when x is 0.
Okay.
Okay. Okay, I'm going to stop sharing my screen and kind of jump in and see if I can give a little more advice to some people. So Cass, I'm in your screen right now. I just tried to close a card. Did that close on your screen also? And I can't hear you, so I don't know if you responded to me or not. But anyway, Cass, you had you'd made a match, and that match is correct. So Let's see, other things that you guys can do if you're still trying to make some matches is it's kind of hard to see the cards unless you click on them and open them up. And so let me go back into my share screen here so you guys can see. And I'm going to, okay, so like on one like this, if you click on it, you can see the actual X values on the X axis and you can see the X values on the Y axis. So if you look at this one right here, do you see how there's 0 slopes at this angle right here? Okay, so again, if you guys are having a hard time, here's some more hints that you can use. So these slopes are all different, you know, vertically and horizontally, they don't have the pattern like the ones with just X's and just Y's. So this one here, because there are slopes of 0 along this kind of diagonal line, you might try to think if there's a way you can see that you can divide the, I think I may have just given a hint that I didn't mean to. But anyway, make the slopes equal 0. It may actually not be dividing now that I think about it, but where you can make the slopes equal 0 when you're on the line y equals negative x, right? This is like the line y equals negative x. And so if you think about it, you know, here 0, 0, here's the point negative 1, 1. And so what can you do with a negative 1, 1 to get 0? That you could also do with a negative 2, 2 to get 0, a negative 3, 3 to get 0. Okay, and then you should also notice on a card like this that the slopes are all 0 here when the y value is 0, right? So this would be the point 2, 0, 4, 0, 6, 0. So what could you do with x and y values to make those equal 0? So again, an x value of 2 and a y value of 0. An x value of 4 and a y value of 0, what's going to make all those slopes equal 0? So that's something else that you can kind of look at there. Let's see, something like this one here is real similar to what I just talked about, where it's got the 0 slopes here along the positive y equals x line. So again, you could check, let's see, at 1, 1, what could you do with the x value 1 and a y value of 1 to make it 0? What could you do with an x value of 2 and a y value of 2 to make it 0? So you can kind of look at that way. Let's see. If you look at something like this, and you guys will probably notice I'm looking at 0 slopes over and over again. So what's making these slopes 0? So on this one here, you know, I've got slopes of 0 all along the y-axis, which if you think what those x and y values are, I have 0, 1, 0, 2, 0, 3, 0, 4. And so what could you do with the x and the y value to make the dy dx to make the slope equal 0, right? So what could you do with the 1, 0 to make it equal 0? What could you do with the 3, 0 to make it equal 0 kind of thing? Let's see. What else could I talk about? Something like this, you might look to see, again, there's 0 slopes there. But do you see how there's also slopes of probably about 1 there along the line y equals x? So what could make the slope or the dy dx equal 1 if the x value is 1 and the y value is 1? If the x value is 2 and the y value is 2, how could you make that equal 1, right? Again, if the x value is 4 and the y value is 4, how can I make that slope equal 1? How can I make dy dx equal 1? Okay, it looks like people are starting to make some good progress. Okay, I'm gonna stop sharing again so that I can take a peek in at a couple. Mayel, you just made a match.
Cool.
And then Mayel, I'm going to give you another hint while I've got your attention. You've got a few matches. The one that you have that's correct, just so you don't unmatch them, is the one that has the 0.5x and the x squared minus 16, because those slopes are 0 when x is 4, -4, and 0. Then you have made a match with y squared minus 16, and that one is not right because you have slopes of 0 at 4, at x equals 4, and at x equals -4. So the match that you've made with the y squared minus 16, that card you're going to want to match with an x squared minus 16 instead of a y squared minus 16. So you're on the right track there, but it's not quite there. Let's see, Mason, you have some matches made and 3 of 4 of yours are correct. The only one of your 4 that are not correct is the one with the x squared minus 4x. And that x squared minus 4x is the one that's going to have 0 slopes at 0 and at 4, because x squared minus 4x you could factor to be x times x minus 4. And that would give you 0 slopes at x equals 0 and at x equals 4. And so you're going to want to look for 0 slopes in a vertical line at x equals 0 and at x equals 4 for that one set of cards that you've matched up there.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm. Let's see.
Ms. Grassel,
Uh-huh.
is there any way to like, it says I matched all of my cards.
Mm-hmm.
So do I like have to do anything, or if I just exit out of the tab, will it save for you?
Yep. It's I can see that you've got it. It'll stay there like Kieran did it yesterday at some point. I don't even know when he did it, but his cards have been all matched up since he logged back out. So if you just shut it down, it'll be fine. It'll stay there. So Adrian's good, Christina's good, Carrie Ann is good, Maggie's got it, Zach's got it, Sarah, Kieran, those guys all have them all matched up. And I think, just to kind of give you guys another hint too, there will be a point, I don't know when it happens, this happened for me anyway, where it will allow you to see the key. I think it will let you see which ones are correct, but you may have to have, I don't know at what point you're allowed to see that. Let's see, Sophia, you have 4 matches that are correct. Mael, you have 2 that are correct and 3 that are incorrect. Mason, you've got 4 correct now. Cass, you've got 5 that are correct now. Grace, you've got, well, I guess I can just share that screen so you guys can see it again.
Thank you, Ms. Grassel.
You're welcome. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Okay, Josh, you're almost there.
Ms. Grassel,
Yes.
I know I said I had a few questions, but after doing the activity, I worked through them on my own. So.
Okay, good. Good.
Bye-bye.
Bye. Okay, so if any of you guys that are still here have any specific questions I can help answer, or if you want me to open yours up to kind of see how you're doing, just let me know if I can give you specific feedback. I mean, I can go in and talk about a few more cards if you guys would like. I just don't want to take the fun away from you and you know, tell you too much. Can I ask you guys that are still there, are you able to check your answers? Have you guys tried doing that?
I haven't seen a way to check my answers.
Okay.
Yeah, not yet. Maybe in a minute.
Okay. I think there should be a screen where you can check your answers, so you can click over to that, but it probably doesn't allow you to do it until you get to a certain point, I'll bet. So I'm just curious, like Josh, I think, are you still on here?
Yeah.
Okay, so you have, everything matched up, but there's still a couple that are wrong. If you go to the check your answer screen, will it allow you, like, will it tell you what you have right and wrong?
No, I just checked my answers and it said not yet. Try again.
So it doesn't tell you until you get them all. This is
I guess not.
what it sounds like. Okay. Thank you for letting me know. Oops. Josh, do you want a hint?
That would be very helpful. Doing this on a phone is not fun.
Oh, really? Oh my gosh. Okay. So, um, so the two card, you don't even know which two cards you have that are wrong, right?
No.
Okay. So I don't know how to do this since you only have two. If I tell you which two it is, then you'll know which way to do. Okay, so one of the slope fields has 0 slopes at x equals 0, so all along the y-axis, and also has 0 slopes on the diagonal line y equals x. And I'll just tell you that because of that, the 0 slopes where x is 0, you're going to have a factor that gives you x equals 0 because of that. And then the slopes that have the 0 slopes along the diagonal line where y equals x, those are going to have 0 slopes at those values because x minus y is going to be 0. So I don't know if that helps at all. But it's going to be 2 derivative cards that have subtraction. It has x's and y's in it, and it has subtraction.
Did you say it had the zeros on x equals y and the y-axis or the x-axis?
On x equals y and on the y-axis, so at x equals 0. Well, I think the other one has the opposite of what I just said. Okay, let's see. I'll let you guys see my screen again so you guys can kind of check in on how you're doing with your matches that you have. So if you want to pop over there, you'll be able to see, ooh, Josh, you figured out the 2.
That was excruciating.
I'm sorry, that sounds awful having to do it on your phone. Do you not have a computer you can do it on?
I mean, I'd rather not have to go to a computer right now.
Okay. So you're doing it on the phone while you're also Zooming on the phone?
Yes.
Ooh, that's rough. But you have access to a computer that you can use at home?
Yes.
Okay, good. Because I was going to say, if you don't, the school can help you with that, because that kind of thing, if you had to do again, well, I wouldn't want you to torture yourself like that again. All right, Josh, think you're good? Nicely done. Sorry it was so awful having to do it on a phone.
Bye, Miss Grassel.
Bye-bye. Ooh, Grace, you're almost there, down to your last 2.
I know. I think I got it.
Yep, it looks like it.
Okay. So then do I just hit next and then is it?
I think you can check
Oh,
your answers
okay.
to see that it's right, and then you can go ahead and just close the window, and you're good.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome. Good job. Let's see. Maybe I'll jump in. Let's see. Mason, you have a bunch of different matches, so I'm going to go in and show you which ones are right. If you want to flip over to my screen, you can see which ones are right, so you don't mess with those anymore. And I don't know how much your screen looks like my screen, but at any rate, Mason, if you're looking.
It's pretty exact.
Okay. Does it open and close the cards like that on your screen when I do that?
No.
Okay, I was just curious. Okay, so you now know those 4 are good.
Yeah.
Okay, so now you know to leave those 4 alone, and now you can mess with some of the others. And let's see. Ooh, Cash, you're getting there. It looks like you have 2 that are matched that are not correct. So let me just show you those 2. Oh, 3 that are matched that are not correct, just so that you can see. So you can see those 2 that are not correct, and then that should help you there. Mael, I'm on your screen now. So of the ones that you have matched, right, you have 6 that are matched. These 2 here are the ones that are not correct. So the other matches that you've made are correct. So you might even want to go something like this, where you put them all, close them all up. I know I'm good on those, you know what I mean? So you don't mess with those anymore.
Mm-hmm. All right.
All right, good. You got 4 matches together now, Mael. And Cassidy, everything that's matched up is good there. Let's see. Oh, Sophia, you're down there. Let's show you, Sophia. Okay, good. You've got those all closed. Those that are closed are all correct. So you're good there. Okay. I'm gonna stop sharing so that I can see if I can look at any in particular that you guys are all having a hard time with, and maybe talk about some of those. Okay, I'm going to grab the screen again, and I'm going to talk about a few in particular that it looks like a lot of you guys are having a hard time with. So I'm looking at the cards that have the X and the Y's being added or subtracted. Well, not that one. Like these guys here. And I'm gonna talk about this card right here in particular. In order for the slopes to be 0 here, you have to have the X's and the Y's add to 0, which means they have to be opposite values. So if X is 1, Y has to be -1. And similarly, if Y is 1, X has to be -1. So that should have 0 slopes, you know, on diagonal lines when either X is 1 and Y is -1, X is 2 and Y is -2, that kind of thing. So I'm looking for 0 slopes that are at diagonal lines. So like this, for example, has 0 slopes. Oh, but those are the same. If I added the 1s, the 1 and the 1 here, that would give me 2, not 0. So I don't want that one. I would want a diagonal line that goes the other direction. Of course, I can't find any right now. There we go, something like that. So that has 0 slopes at opposite values. So like -1, 1, those would add to 0. -2, 2 would add to 0. But that's just the one direction that it's adding to 0, right? So it's not adding to 0 the other way. Oh, well, that would be positive values. Okay, so that's going to be one where if you're adding the values together, they're going to add to 0 because -3 and +3 add to 0. Whereas the one that I had before, like this one here, where they're the same, you're going to need the X and the Y's to subtract to make 0, right? So 1 - 1, 2 - 2, 3 - 3. So this is going to have an X minus Y kind of thing. So see if that piece helps. Ooh, Cass, I got him. Did you know you got him, Cass?
Yeah.
Yay.
I
Good
had a
job.
question on the homework though.
Okay, let's talk about that while they're doing this here. I'll leave this screen so that they can see how many cards they have right. Which one do you have a question about?
I just had a question on number 16 because I did it, or I was like doing it, and it said that the answer was D, but that didn't make sense to me because on the negative side, the slopes are still positive.
Negative side of, you mean like when X is negative?
Yeah, when X is negative.
Oh, yeah, I agree with you.
So I was like confused about that. I looked at that for a long time. I was like, what am I doing wrong?
The answer is D, huh? So here's kind of another thing that you can do on these. When I look at C, no, never mind. Okay, so here's the thing that I think you're getting mixed up on that, is that the equation that they have in D, that's not the derivative equation. That's the solution equation.
Oh, that makes sense.
Okay. Because that's where I was going at first too. I was going to take the derivative of one of them and I was like, oh wait, that's not what I'm looking at here. So if you were to take the derivative in D and get the derivative equation for D, that would give you what, like a 1/2 x squared. And if dy dx was 1/2 x squared, then that would give you the positive values on the negative x side, right?
All right, cool. That's all I had.
Okie dokie.
Bye.
See you later. All right, Sophia, it looks like every match you have is correct right now. So you're getting there. You're down to 5, it looks like, that you need to match up. And Mael, all but 1 are correct now. Let's see, Mason, let me go in and show you which ones are correct so that you can, okay, so you've got the ones that are correct match up. So you know which ones are correct then. That's good. I see what you're doing. So Mason, these over here, if you're looking at my screen here, those are like the ones that I was talking about that are gonna have 0 slopes, either along a diagonal line that, you know, like y equals x or x equals y equals x or y equals negative x. So like something like this, if you think about factoring the y out, you'd have y equals 0. So you'd want to look for slopes that make y equals 0. And then you have, if you factor the y out, you would have x plus y left. And so you need the x plus y to add to 0 to have the 0 slopes. And so that's when you would need the y equals negative x. So that's when you would need the diagonal line like that one.
Oh.
But see how these here are 0 slopes when, let's see, that's when y
Y
is
equals
0,
0.
right? And so, oh, did I just show you a match? Okay, and so let's see, Mael and Sophia, that might help with you guys, I don't know. But again, since he was having a hard time with these are all gonna have 0 slopes on a diagonal line. Where there's the plus sign, it has to be a diagonal line that goes in the like y equals negative x direction, because you need those to add to 0.
I was thinking all the ones that had the squares were the ones that just had the Y or the X, like the one that makes the circle.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I was thinking.
Uh-huh. Yeah, so these guys here, I think are going to be the ones that you were thinking, like this group here probably, right? That either made a circle or they all go away from each other.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, okay. Sophia, you got them.
I got it.
Yay.
That took forever.
Sorry.
To be honest, the first whole part of this Zoom meeting, I was trying to figure out where this assignment was.
Oh, sorry.
Me too.
Sorry.
I was like, I literally went on Desmos and I was like, I can't find this. Where the heck is it? And then I went on Classroom and I'm like, I'm so stupid. She posted
Maybe I should have started with that little piece of information. Sorry.
It's okay.
I'm learning how to do this distance teaching thing.
It's okay. You're better than some teachers.
Well, I try.
I can tell you that right now.
All right. Well, thank you. All right. I'm going to jump in on Mael's screen and see if I can give him some hints. And Sophia, I'll see you later.
Bye.
Bye. Mael, all your matches are good. So Mael, if I were you at this point, I'd probably do a little bit of organizing.
Okay.
So at the beginning, I don't know if you were here at the beginning, I took things that looked the same and matched them together. So like these guys that have X and Y's that are being added together, I put those together. This guy just has Y in it, so I'm gonna put that somewhere else, right? I'm gonna take these guys here that all have, you know, an X divided by Y and kind of match them up like that. And, you know, you don't have to leave them grouped together like that, but that at least kind of helps you organize yourself.
Mhm.
Let's see, you made the matches already with the ones that had just X's in them, right? That didn't have Y values. And those
Yeah.
were all the same vertically, right? The slopes were all the same vertically. Let me see if I can find one of those, right? Like this one here, those were all the same going up and down, right?
Okay.
And that's because it was only X that was affecting the slopes. Well, this guy here only has Y's that are affecting the slope, right?
Okay.
So you're going to want to find one then that has maybe horizontal slopes that are all the same. to match with that guy there.
Let's see.
And when I dragged things on your screen, did that drag them for you too?
It did not, no.
All right. Just curious.
Okay, I think I found that one.
Let's see. Yep, you got it. So I'd close that down, get it out of the way.
Okay.
And you'll be able to start seeing some other things. So then one of the things that that Mason talked about was there was one that he felt like kind of had circles in it where they were all curving in or all kind of curving out away from each other. And
Yeah.
those are going to end up being the ones with the x over y or the y over x.
Okay.
And I don't know how to explain that best to you other than just to kind of practice, you know, like if I looked at something like this, you know, well, here I have slopes of 0. I always look for slopes of 0. So, you know, if I have 0.2 or 0.4 or 0.6, what's making that 0 is if the x value is 0. So if I have x in the numerator, that kind of thing might work there, right? Let's see.
Let's see what I do there.
Let's see, Mason, let me, if you want to look at what I'm looking at here, I'm going to talk about this one here on yours that you have matched up and why that one's not correct. So that one, if you look at it, that one has slopes here of 0 along the x-axis, right? And so those there would have, you know, the point 2, and 4, and 6, 0. And so in order to make those slopes 0, I need to have 0 divided by something, right? So again, since it's 2, 0, it's the y value that's 0. So I need the numerator to be 0. So I need the y value to be 0. So you do have that there. So that's good.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
So since that one you can see now is not right, do you know which one to try then because of that?
I do. I just don't know why it's the other one.
Okay, so let me talk about that then. Let me go back in here. If we look at this slope right here, where x is 2 and y is 2, if I did 2 divided by 2, I should get positive 1, right?
Okay.
2 divided by 2 would be positive 1, but that's definitely a negative slope there.
Yes. Okay.
Okay.
Oh, I can look at the diagonal line. They're all negative.
Right. Oh, yeah, that's right.
There's the x equals y line. The slope is exactly -1.
Oh, you're right. Look at that. I didn't even notice that. Choo, 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 choo. Yep. Good. Cool. Oh, you guys are both almost there. So Mael, there's yours. So you can see the 2 that you have correct.
Nice.
Yeah. Oh, Mason, you're there. 2 to go. Got him. Mason, did you click check your answer so you can see that you got it?
Oh, no, I didn't. I was just trying to figure out, like, because I know by process of elimination that those 2 are correct. I'm still just trying to get the negative versus positive and see if there's a pattern with, like, that pushing. They
Oh,
all
so
look
you're
like
like trying to
they're-
learn right now. So even though you got it right already, you're just trying to learn. I see.
Yeah.
And Mael, it looks
All
like
right.
you got it. Good stuff.
So I can just exit out of this now. It'll save automatically.
Yep.
All right, cool. Thank you.
Good to go. Yeah, you're welcome.
All right, you have a nice morning.
Thanks, you too, Mael.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Check my work. Yeah.
Yay. Good job, Mason.
Yeah, positive slope on the line